Thanks for being here, guys. We're playing our first festival soon. I'm curious to start off with what Taya thought of all this when she was reached out to by a friend of a friend to say, hey, do you want to put yourself on tape for a movie that's going to require you to memorize 100 pages of dialogue and then perform it all in a 5-day stretch?
Yeah, I was like, heck yeah, bring it on. I mean, it's like the theater background where you're like, I love a challenge. I was really, honestly, just excited to have a good script and be able to work on something that was, actor friendly and seemed like a really good community project, if you will. So, yeah. There you go. Is that not concise enough? I don't know.
No, that's great. That's
okay.
Fantastic. And I think we could probably go into the background of this too.
Speaking of more accent work, though.
All right, darling. Well, I think.
Good.
Oh, I didn't know she was British.
Oh yes, darling. I am. Yes.
It's funny. We were almost on set a year ago.
Yeah.
In a hotel room, much like this, but much larger in Las Vegas.
Really a very large hotel room.
In the grand scheme of things, quick turnaround for a feture film. Pretty quick turnaround.
Very much so. I mean,
it was insane.
I mean, we're less than a year and going for it.
You sent me a cut of this in
October.
July?
Oh.
No.
Yeah,
You sent me a cut of it in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's real fast.
Yeah.
The movie started, I feel like before the movie started, because I was fortunate enough to see the play version of this script in 2019.
2019, yeah.
Summer of 2019?
No, it was the fall. It was like September, October. We put it up with in-house theater in a couple different locations in LA where the audience was like crammed into the hotel rooms with us.
How many audience members were you able to fit in?
The first show that we did at the Andaz.
That's the one I went to.
Yeah, there was room for like 13 chairs. We were not turning a profit on this particular performance, but then we were able to move to another space that had more, it was a little bit more proscenium situation. And you know what, that play version is not it's not that much different than the movie. There are differences, but not huge.
And when I left that performance, I definitely was thinking this could be a movie. But it was 2019 and there was no pandemic, so I wasn't like, let's make the movie tomorrow in Las Vegas for no money and just like crank it out in 4 days.
Right.
That was not the thought.
I had heard that from a few people, like, oh, it would be so simple to make this as a movie, but my head immediately went to, I wrote it as a play for a reason. If I make it as a movie, I have to come up with a bunch of extra stuff. What happens with Abe and Rose before they meet at the hotel room? What happens outside? Like, it wouldn't make sense to have it be all in a hotel room. And then, yeah.
Well, I feel like the only way to really translate it into a film was to just embrace the script that it existed. We have two characters, one location. That's the beauty of it for me. I think the movie gives you a similar vibe to what I felt being trapped in this hotel room watching this thing play out. You can't leave. It's just, you're here for this. It's basically real time for an hour and 10 or 15 minutes.
The Eagles have a song about this exact experience. Have you heard of them?
I have. I've heard of them.
They're quite good. They break up and then they get back together. They're quite good. Yeah.
Spoiler. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, I tried to write the version that I'm describing of the movie, and I just like never really went anywhere because it felt kind of like busy work. And so I was so excited when you approached me about wanting to make the play as a movie because it was, I don't know, it unlocked this whole way of thinking about it that I hadn't taken very seriously.
Approach is a strong word. I feel like it was a desperate pandemic phone call of, I've been holed up in my place for almost a year and I have to do something. I've had 2 feature films get put on hold. We need to make something. Like, we have to, I think the challenge was, and I said the same thing to you, can we do this movie with the bare minimum? Like, can we just bring a DP, a sound mixer, and, a COVID officer, basically, 2 actors, and crank this out in 4 or 5 days for no money? For the cost of paying everyone and staying in the hotel, can we do it? And can we do it in secret so that we don't have to get clearance from the location?
Right.
I mean, Did any of you think that we were
You
crazy for trying to do this?
You called me and asked me if I would help you produce it.
Right.
And I said, yeah, I think everyone's going to get arrested, but we can absolutely do it. Like,
I was ready.
yeah, I'm bored. Whatever. Let's shake this thing up a little bit. Like
Knock
I'm just
it off
sitting
the
in my
list.
home. Yeah. I was like, sure, we can keep doing this until we get arrested. Even while we were shooting, I was like, tomorrow will be the day the police arrive. Tomorrow, it was literally like was that the Princess Bride where it's like tomorrow's the day I kill you.
Yeah.
This kept being like the police. We were just talking about this. The police showed up 3 times on the floor, and every time we had to stop. We'd all run to the door and be like,
And like huddle the camera
Yeah.
away from where the view of the hallway.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we were nothing.
And guys,
They
I've got a
didn't care.
surprise. The police are right outside the door right now.
I do.
I'm really scared.
It's apropos.
What we're doing is totally
I think
legit.
it's so appropriate though that we made this movie in secret in a hotel room in Las Vegas a year ago, and now we're shooting this little Q&A session in secret in a hotel room
At the
Right.
blank hotel
at the
Yes.
Blank Hotel.
in blank Angeles.
Yes.
I hadn't
Yeah,
even
I got that.
crossed my mind.
I got
No
that.
one will
Become
ever
a
know.
film shoot now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like you should talk about your code words that you used during shooting.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I mean, we definitely didn't want to blow our cover and have someone walking through the hallways hearing someone yelling action and cut. So there was no action. It was probably some whispered of like, okay, just go for it. And then,
Say, on you, Michael.
or on you, or, you know, like the Clint Eastwood thing where you don't want to scare the horses. So you just say like, you know, whenever you're ready.
He just called those horses.
He did. That's okay.
But the finest equine specimens,
Mhm.
am I just
Yeah,
digging
yeah,
it?
just
Is it
keep
getting
going,
worse?
bud. Keep going.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
fine.
you.
That's
But then
We're
for,
prize winners.
instead of cut, we were saying thank you. It was that's a
Yeah.
thank you. And
It was a very like English. It
fine.
was an English cut.
It was very
Thank you.
That's a thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which probably sounded weirder from the hallway.
Well, I feel like
Did
it
he say
started
thank
as just a normal thank you, and then by day 4, 3, it became, and that's a thank you.
Oh,
You
no,
know, you
moving
guys are
on.
like reciting it exactly as you would say cut, except
The
for
bell is
yeah.
ringing on the
And that's a
stage.
thank you. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex,
Yes.
what I'm genuinely curious because we're so close that we don't even talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
What was your actual thought when I called you and said, "Do you want to make a movie in secret in a hotel room in 4 days?"
Oh, it was immediate, yes.
Yeah.
And the first time that you didn't send me the adaptation.
Mhm.
You sent me the original
You read the play.
play, and I thought, oh, there's some things we'll need to change because there's all sorts of other stuff that's written for theater, but ultimately this could be done, and I think immediately started talking about like how could we do it? Do we have to shoot at night? Can we do it in the day? What are the requirements we needed to like actually execute this? But it was never. I maybe this is just me and my like attitude in general, but I never really thought we were gonna not get away with it.
I'm glad that you felt that way, because some of us over here were like just getting.
The two of you though on set, it was like watching like a SWAT team where it was just the way your guys' bodies would move
Amazing.
together, where it was just like.
Yeah.
Most of
And
it,
it's just you're just
All
on
the
his
hand
back.
signals.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
behind his back, and there's occasionally this over here, and it's like he's like he understands what that means. The language the two of you speak is really I'm
Yeah.
blown away,
Mm.
and I can't wait to make another movie with you guys because I want to learn it so
Yeah.
badly.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
spend more than 5 days making the next.
No.
one.
Can we please?
2 days.
Well, this is the
2.5
problem. Once
days.
you do it and you prove you can do it, the people want you to do it again.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it would have been possible though without that, because I agree that outside for me this was exciting to watch this movie happen and watch the shoot for a lot of reasons. But one of the sort of residual excitements of it was getting to watch the two of you together and the sort of like dance of it, because and you guys could get the shots up so quickly, and we didn't have a light crew. It was just, all right, this is what we're gonna do. And I don't think the movie would have been possible if you guys hadn't had that shorthand and that close relationship, because at least not in the time frame. But also, part of the time frame was that we weren't getting a lot of complicated lighting setups. You guys had already thought all that through,
Mhm.
and if an adjustment needed to be made, you guys have both the trust and the shorthand to like make it happen right away.
Well, and if I may, I think something that was really lovely is coming into it knowing that the prep work had been done.
Mm-hmm.
So you already came into a situation where you felt comfortable. You knew that you were going to be taken care of. You knew that things were, because I remember like we would run lines over Zoom because the time of quarantine, and just knowing like, okay, we're taking care of ourselves. We know we're going to be okay, and we get to play and we get to explore because it is a tight, time frame. But at least we know that we're coming into something that is a set, secure area that we get to do that. And so thank you for doing that and preparing that for everybody.
I mean, you're the real hero of this because the rest of us all know each other pretty well. We've been working together for a couple years on some stuff. Alex and I went to college together a million years ago. Marissa and I went to grad school together. Like, we all have these really intimate relationships, which make being on set fun and productive, and we can pull this stuff off. But you're this like kind of outsider coming into the group.
Yeah.
It's true. And I can imagine that wasn't the easiest thing in the world. It's like you're the new kid, but
I love it.
Oh, good.
I love it. Well, you were really welcoming. I mean, Michael knows this. It was really intimidating. Like looking at 88 pages.
Yeah.
And being like, hey, you also have a lot of monologues. And also, like my poor mother, I ran lines with her on Zoom for like probably 3 weeks solid. She deserves a raise. And it was, I was really scared, just because I wanted to do it justice and make it personal. But anyways.
You did that. You definitely you did that.
We drove out to Vegas together and back together, and we were like, cool, we're gonna drive out and we're just gonna run lines the entire time. We didn't say a single fucking line of dialogue the entire time we were driving out there. It was just this kind of ongoing like blah 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 conversation. We were like, well, wait, like we should just actually be friends. I remember when like even when because you booked the role because you were the first choice that you were right, and you were ripping through callbacks with people, and he put us into a breakout room to run the lines, and we were about to start, and I was like, hey, I don't know you, so what's up? Like, let's talk. And we didn't fucking run the scene. Pardon me. We didn't run the scene. We just talked, and then we jumped in and we did the scene. I think we both felt a real like immediately because of that. But I swear, being in a car with you for 6 hours, you'd hit these moments of quiet, and then Taya would just hit you with a Desert Island TV shows, go.
I don't do quiet.
No,
I don't do quiet.
Quiet is not a thing, which is why I think you did such a lovely job of Marissa's script, and which is why I think you handled the monologue so well.
Thanks, friend.
And I would just like to jump back to Marissa really quickly. I love that you didn't do something big and silly, and that you didn't need to have it before, and you didn't need to have us go out on some adventure, and that you did trap these two people in this very weird situation without it being, I don't know, psychological or there's a lot of alcohol, but without it being like drug induced or anything else. I don't know. I think there's really a place for this type of storytelling, and I think we're starting to see it pivot back, and I think we're going to see a lot more of this kind of interpersonal storytelling, because I think people are kind of getting sick of a certain type of movie that just keeps getting put in movie theaters right now. So.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, and I think it's important to note that like the story we didn't try to scramble to think of a story that we could tell easily during the restrictions of quarantine, and as Will said, the play went up in 2019, and what I was getting at before was that the idea was like, what if these two people were stuck in a room together? And that's why I wrote it as a play, because movies don't tend to be made that way. So it's really exciting for many reasons, it's really exciting to get to watch it come full circle in this way, because writing screenplays or for TV is much more natural and common for me than writing a play in the first place. So at least, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I should just keep writing plays and then maybe they'll turn into movies eventually. But it was so exciting. And also it was very exciting to have, my good friend Will, but also an excellent director, take such ownership of it, because I think if it had been someone else, I might have been really nervous. But I was never nervous about what you were like doing with the material, even though you guys, so much of what's on the screen is absolutely because of what you guys did, the decisions that you made. Obviously decisions you two made are a huge part of it as well.
I don't remember doing any of
those.
We were so drunk the
It was
entire
a
time.
fever dream the whole time. We don't remember. It's such a shame we don't get along.
I know, I hate us.
We're the worst.
I hate us.
Friendship.
It really does seem like it was a much better use of your time in the car to get to know each other that well.
Until we got on set and didn't know our lines.
No,
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
do not
I
say
totally
we did not
agree.
know. I knew my lines. I had done my work. I'm very tired. No, can I actually just say though, as a side note, like it has been a blessing that we did get along so well, and we like straight away just had a connection of like kindred spirits who like to joke and get along and support each other, and even in the moments where we're like, what the fuck are we doing? Like we had each other to be able to be like, we're okay.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I'm partial to you. I mean,
yeah, it's good. We hooked arms with the Yellow Brick Road. It's okay. We did it. We made it. And then we both slept for like 3 weeks afterwards.
I just woke up last week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You look rested.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I mean, I haven't seen you literally in a year since we left Las Vegas, right? Like
Yeah.
in person. I
Yeah.
mean, and that's the nature of this pandemic. We went off and we did this thing, and you were joking earlier, you hadn't seen his face because we were all wearing
I
masks.
didn't know
the
who
entire
this
time.
gentleman was. No clue.
It's such a strange little like time capsule of a movie that only could have been made at the time that we made it, under the circumstances we made it. We never would have done it if we didn't have to do it this way. Like in my mind, the options were we don't make a movie or we can try and make a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we tried to make a movie. I'm
Yeah.
excited for people to see it. I'm
Yeah.
excited for them to see your work and your work and your work. And that's literally all the
Well,
people's work.
that. Well, I mean, it's up to you. I want to go first. You go first.
No, truly.
So William is an incredibly dear friend of mine. We, like he alluded to, we're working on a couple other projects. We met because of a beautiful script that he's written, which connected us initially, and then we've got to know each other. We'd never worked together on set before, and this was so just anarchy, go, 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 that I think we probably said 20 words to each other. Like we'd really rap and just walk down the hall.
But that's the trust. Like that's the.
Yeah.
It's the same with Alex. It's like you get into a place of comfort, and we know like this. We know what needs
He
to be
interrupted
done.
my comment. Did you see
Oh.
him interrupt my comment? To see what he did. See how he got uncomfortable that I
Wow.
was gonna...
Yeah.
So we had dinner a few weeks after shooting, and we sit down to dinner, and I'm like, we haven't talked in like 2 weeks because I think we're both just like processing what we just did. We sit down to dinner, and I'm like, dude, I gotta tell you, you are phenomenal with actors. Like you are just so trusting. He's like, oh, you're gonna go first? He's like, because I'm gonna go too. And I was like, no. I was like, I'll go first, and then you can go for longer if you would like to. But yeah, I just the amount of trust and the way you. I'm not gonna give away this trick you have that I learned on set because I'm gonna steal it for when I direct something.
I want.
I'm not. I'll tell you off camera. I don't want people to know this. But I learned so much. I've worked with so many directors, and I learned so much from you in this very short period of time about how to handle actors, how to handle intense situations, how to keep yourself cool when things are like really flying off the rails. I think you one time got a little testy and said, "We're getting this shot. This shot is the movie." And I was like, "That's the most Hollywood thing I've ever heard." Oh my God.
It was
not
the
But
sex scene.
But he didn't
It's
even.
like, what are
You
you
didn't
gonna
even
do?
raise your voice that like
I
that
was
high.
doing
though.
everything.
It's just
Right.
like disappointed dad vibes. I do not have children, but I definitely feel that when I get upset, it's the disappointed dad vibes, and yeah, that was it. But I mean that scene, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
we were crunched for time, but it's the whole movie's been building to this moment, and you know I love
We don't care.
I
if we
love
get
our
that.
AD who's keeping me honest, being like we don't have time for this, and I just.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just
And
gotta
SAG,
go
we
for an
didn't go into overtime.
we never
once.
Well,
we never
because,
got into overtime
because we were shooting 10-hour days, which was
Yeah.
like most indie film sets are 12
Yeah.
at a minimum, and I'm proud that we were able to crank this out as quickly as we were in 10-hour days.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have literally lost our minds.
Yeah,
you know.
and I was not lying when I said we went into overtime ever. I was not lying right then.
Should we talk about Vegas stuff at all? I feel like, or I don't know.
I feel like it's worth talking. I mean, because this is a Q&A that we're shooting for our film festival premiere, it's worth talking about the logistics of what we actually did.
Yeah.
You know, I think that to me is something that I'm, you know, very proud of that we were able to pull off, and it's tempting to do it again, but you know, not that tempting. Don't get any funny ideas. But you know, it was a quarantine movie. We had 2 actors. We had 1 location. We had, you know, in the Hollywood scheme of things, no money to make this movie, and it was prepped entirely over Zoom. Like until the very end, we were rehearsing on Zoom, and then when we were in person, we were wearing masks.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blocking. for
There's
this movie.
a lot of blocking.
It's really important.
And speaking of the blocking, so Alex and I spent weeks shot listing over Zoom together with a floor plan of the hotel room, which I had gone to Vegas on January 6th, 2021. Believe it or not.
Did something happen that day?
And something happened, and the thing that happened was that I was in Las Vegas taking detailed measurements of every inch of the room so that he could put it into some software and that we could shot list and basically John Madden style,
Right.
like draw theoretical blocking of this scene could be here and our shots would be here, here, and here. And we went through every word of the script that way. I'm not going to say what hotel we were at, but the hotel in person does not look nearly as good as we made it look on screen.
Ugh.
Which, you know, we brought up lighting earlier. I didn't realize that I didn't realize that you were running all the lights. I didn't realize you guys had changed all the light bulbs in
Replaced
the
Lights.
every light bulb,
Every
brought
single
in
thing.
our new lamps and light
Just
fixtures.
again,
and
the amount of work that this man over here who has said nothing during this did.
Hey!
It's just like
And you had an app that controlled the lights for certain things, and then
and it's really the app that's doing all the work.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
that's what that was my point. Yes,
And I think Katya did all the gags.
Yeah.
she was
She
amazing.
did.
Our producer Katya.
She did.
But yeah, we replaced every light bulb in the room. We brought in our own fixtures. We had a production designer mail us little furniture pieces, pillows, blankets, all
No,
that.
wait, no. The fake exit map for the hotel you guys made.
Yeah.
Matchbooks?
We have hundreds
everything.
of Opium Palace matchbooks. Beautiful.
I just-
really
we stopped at
well
Opium. What happened?
functioning.
Poker
I
chips.
saw
That's
that.
the name of the hotel. Really well functioning matchbooks. I love those matchbooks.
Yeah, they're good
I light my
matchbooks.
candles with them all the time.
I still have them. I have that in the
Works really
ring
well.
and that, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, can I talk about Alex? I've never been more impressed in my life at literally your physical ability to carry that camera.
Because you don't look that strong.
Yeah.
And yet, hold that camera.
Let me tell you something. No,
For 10 hours.
it was incredibly impressive. And I remember we were doing a scene that was really intimate and the camera's right here. And it would be a 10-minute cut. And then all of a sudden you'd be and you would just hear the spine try to realign and back to some sort of normal safe posture. And I was God bless that man. I don't know how you're doing this, but you did it so patiently and you never complained. I never heard you say anything about your back, which I would have been bitching within 10 minutes. And you got every shot and it was beautiful. So no, thank you.
It is beautiful. Do you want to talk about how we shot it? The camera and lenses and all that?
Well, to speak to your point about John Maddening and all the prep, we knew the only way to make this movie was to essentially a series of interlocking pieces, and we shot it in order, so we could move organically and make little changes, blocking lines that we would need. But all that prep helped, and then we could then sort of decide where the light's going to go and what how are we gonna, should we use wide lenses, long lenses. And through just sheer generosity, we were able to, through friends and new friends, we were able to find a package that, we could, that was really great. And we got some great lenses and these incredible bulbs that we were able to essentially have a gaffer in my pocket. And all that sort of dovetailed with the movie in a beautiful way. And, to speak to what you guys were saying about the sort of the chemistry is really what makes the movie. And I think that, clear today as well, but that, all of our prep was just to support what you guys were doing on the day, and the chemistry was instant. And even you had sent me tapes of here's who's going to be the movie, and I thought, oh, I can see this. I can see this movie already. And I think it really at the end of the day, the fact that we did it with such a small crew really just speaks to how everything just aligned perfectly. I think it was lightning in a bottle. I don't think if we tried to make this today, or even a few months after, that it would have worked. That it would have been as good, or things would have aligned as well. Even the fact that Vegas was probably mobbed with more people, and like we wouldn't have been able to get the deal on the room, or get the camera that we shot on, or the lenses. Everything sort of aligned in a way that I think is very serendipitous and very special. So.
Yeah, I had kind of forgotten until hearing you talk about it in this way right now, how much it for a long time was like, okay, well, when is something going to get bad? Like, when is it going to fall apart? When is this going to turn into a nightmare? Like, you were kind of saying that, Will, at the start.
Yeah.
When you were saying, like, did this seem like a crazy idea to anybody else? And because we were taking all these risks and doing something that, like, according to the playbook of movie making, was really just, like, not possible. And if it is possible, why aren't people doing it more often? Then I was sort of, hoping everything would go great, but you kind of expect at some point it's going to be like, oh gosh, this is such a shit show. And that never came, other than like general Vegas in February of 2021 vibe. But we were able to mostly avoid that by always being working the entire time we were there.
Yeah.
It might have fallen apart if we had shot in the
Yeah.
we really used our limit, and then
Yeah, we utilized those 5 days very well. Very,
We did.
very well, yeah. Well, I remember the very last night we all went out to the casino.
Mhm.
We're like, we just gotta lost some steam, and you taught us how to play blackjack.
Mhm.
Which, thank you.
Yep.
Mhm.
People want some money.
I
Yeah.
won $30.
I lost $100.
Oh, no.
You know what? It's okay because
Because you didn't learn.
I also played the slot machines. They had a bridesmaids one. I had to play it. But I think that's also a testament at the very end that we all were like, we like each other so much. We still want to go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
Edited.
But not at our hotel.
Not at our hotel. But it was nice to be able to have an edited, safe version of fun and hang and just enjoy each other's company.
Well,
So.
and the Bellagio was where we went to play blackjack and whatnot. Other gambling games were played, but before that, we had a brief moment where
It's
we
like
kind of
playing Russian
met.
roulette, other games of chance.
Well, the Russian roulette, we would have lost half our cast.
I was going for drama. I felt the words coming out of my mouth, and that was the direction they were headed. But no, we had a brief moment where we kind of met. We had our Ocean's 11 moment outside at the fountain. This fountain, which the hotel is on the Strip, as you can tell by the beautiful shots out the window, and so we could you could hear the fountain throughout the entire shoot in the background, just the water every hour just crashing back down.
Are we not talking about the most important part that we saw? Every 20 minutes?
About the location.
Oh.
You talking about what I think you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, let it go, girl.
Yeah,
let it go.
but I love it so much.
Yeah.
I can't say it because they're going to know.
Every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes.
Every 20 minutes, my husband would appear.
Yeah. It really did feel like
He's got great
we
hair.
pulled off
Such
He's
hair.
good hair.
Have you ever seen the meme without him? No hair? I'll send it to you. It's
Jesus
terrifying.
Christ.
Does it look like the guy who you move the thing around on? Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
It did feel like we pulled off a heist, though.
Right.
And so
100%.
ending there at the Bellagio with the Ocean's 11 moment was pretty nice. And yeah, no, I'm just really grateful that you guys took the ride with us, and I'm really happy that less than a year later we're able to go out and start showing other people the movie. And yeah, thanks for being a part of it. This is just the
Thank you,
beginning.
man. Thanks,
and,
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers.
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 We're allowed to clean up your
Yeah.
glasses.
And that's a cut. Thank you. That's
And
it.
that's a thank you.
And that's a thank
Yeah,
you.
that's a thank you.